back of the boat for a long time now. You know, to really show how far this club can bring somebody, if you look at where John was 5 years ago compared to where he is now, you know, he sat in on every single Challenge Cup round that we've had. He sat at the back of that boat. He's watched 12 of our best guys every year fishing from the front, and he's taken notes. And apparently he took very good notes. And then he put it into practice this last week and showed what you can do if you pay attention from the back, and you learn how to catch fish behind guys. Even if you're not fishing, you're paying attention to what they're doing, what they might be missing, what you could be doing behind them at the same time that they're fishing. So John went out there, he kept his head down, he grinded all week, and he did a great job. So John is our national contender, and I want to say congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. This is the bait that I use right here, okay? There's no doubt about it. I'm not lying to you, I'm not joking, but when I was using it that day, when I told somebody that I was throwing this, no way. But yes, truly, honestly, this is what I use right here, okay? Why? From the beginning, when my boater picked me up in Penrose, there was no stress at all. We jumped in the truck, we took off, and we were jamming to the 70s. We were singing, we were dancing all the way to Vegas. I mean, we just had a good time. We didn't talk about fishing, not one bit, not whatsoever. Once we got to Vegas, we unloaded, you know, we went and had dinner. He talked about where he wanted to go, and he asked me what I thought. And this is what I truly believe. It's my job in the back of the boat to make that boater's job easier. If I can get him to trust me with all the casts that I can make, whether it be spinnerbait, crankbait, jerkbait, jig, whatever. If I can do that and be consistent and cast with him, I can build confidence with him, and he'll be more friendly to me. He'll be more open to me. And that's what happened, you know. But in practice, it was tough. You know, it was really tough. Dave, my partner David Fleming, he kept throwing a crankbait, and he'd get a fish here, he'd get a fish there. He'd throw the Cinco, he'd get a fish here, he'd get a fish there. You know, and the whole time I'm watching him, and I'm just observing everything that he does. And he goes, "Aren't you going to fish?" I said, "No, this is for you, because I don't know who I'm going to get come tournament time. That's out of my control. We could go bed fishing, it could be jerking, we could be dropping it off the edge of the boat, go all the way down 40 feet, whatever. You know, all I got to know is that, can I do those things? Yes, I can. I've practiced those things day after day after day after day. You know, so I made his job a lot easier. And when I did that, everything just seemed to change. They seemed more open. You know, they seemed to ask more about, you know, what I thought, you know, and those kind of things. So anyway, I took notes on the back of the boat, what time he caught the fish, how deep it was, what color was the bait, and I wrote it down and all that kind of stuff. And after 2 days of doing that, we put both papers together, and we realized that come 11 o'clock was the bass hour for us. Now that doesn't mean that for everybody else, but for me and David, at 11 o'clock, anytime after 11 o'clock, the bass hour just turned on for us. And we knew that they liked the little worm. David was throwing the Z-Man. He was throwing the little Z-Man worm with the mushroom head, with an exposed hook, okay? I don't care for the exposed hook. And the reason is that because if I get caught up, that means I jam up my boater. That costs us time. He has to stop, he has to come back, I have to untie that. Hopefully I can get it off without snapping it off or whatever, you know. But that costs time. So then you got to readjust. He's got, you know, get back in the, you know, thinking what he was doing and everything like that. And I try to eliminate all those things every time I made a cast, every single time. And I did it. The first day I got paired with a guy with a banana. Fantastic. One of the best gentleman anglers I've ever met. Mr. Davis, great guy. He's a certified boiler welder. You know, and see, and that's how I got to know him. I talked to him. You know, are you married? Do you have grandkids? You know, and just try to loosen them up. you know, and things like that. He had every rod on the deck. Every single rod that he had that was on the deck, and then he had extra baits tucked into the carpet, just hooked into the carpet, because he was ready. But I don't know what he was ready for, but he was ready, you know. And so I started talking to him, and I could hear how nervous he was about going. And I said, I guess the club's got a lot of pressure on you, yeah? He goes, yeah, they really want me to do well. I don't do too well in these things. And as soon as he said that, that means they're picking on him. You know, his club's picking on him. Come on, man, you gotta do it, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. So they got him all wound up. He's all nervous and everything, you know? So I start talking to him more and getting more relaxed, more relaxed. So we take off, we head across the lake, you know, and we go to his first spot. And he just jumps right out of the seat, just flies to the front of the boat, drops the trolling motor, and woo, with the spinnerbait, man, just big old spinnerbait. I mean, it was huge. And I looked at it and I go, wow, that's big. So I stepped back further in the boat. You know, I take a step back. You know, I got to give him his room. That's him. That's his. That belongs to him. You know, so I step back, you know, and I see how he comes. He comes like this, and he comes right across this way, and then across the console like that, and he slings it that way like that. And so, and I call it the double dutch. You remember in elementary school when you were doing the double dutch like this, and you had to get the timing to go in there like that? So I started realizing I'm going to get into his timing. And so he would do it, you know, and he kept throwing it like that. So I reached down, picked up my spinnerbait, you know, because I know it wasn't the bass out. So I picked up my spinnerbait, and sure enough, here it comes. It's my turn. And I threw it. He landed. I landed. And mine wasn't, poof. It went in. I stopped it, laid it down, and brought it back. Laid it down, brought it back. Real smooth. It was sweet. I couldn't do nothing wrong. It just lay there, and I'm going, this is great. You know? And so I was really consistent with him. And he looks back and he goes, you're a non-boater? And I said, yeah. I said, I've been back here for the whole time. I've been fishing for bass. And he goes, wow, you do pretty good back there. I said, I really try. So anyway, we go into a cove, and he starts pitching at this little bass that's on a bed. And he's trying to catch it, and he tries it like 6 times, you know, and he can't catch this little old bass. And I'm going, why is he wasting his time with that little bass? But that's not my call. He can do whatever he wants. And he gets so mad. He gets so mad that he finally just slams his rod down, pulls up his trolling motor, and says, we're out. And I said, okay, no problem. Put my stuff down, you know, and everything like that. We go to another cove. We both throw way in the back. He goes to the left. I go to the right, you know. And bam, just like that. He catches this big old 4-pound, 2-ounce largemouth on the end of that thing. And man, and as soon as the fish touch it, get the net, you know, just get the net. You know, he's really excited. I said, I'm right here, Patrick. I go, I'm not going anywhere. I said, I'm right here. Don't worry about it. I'm right here. And he's, you know, trying to get it. Slow down, calm down, breathe. It's coming. She's coming. You're gonna get her. You're gonna get her. And he just, you got the net. I actually put my hand on his shoulder and I said, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I got the net for you. I'm right here. And here she comes. And oh man, she looks beautiful. Just like you see in the magazine or you see on TV. You know, the big mouth, the nice belly, you know, all that kind of stuff. And here she comes, you know. And I go, come on. Here she comes. And she makes a run underneath the boat. Oh my God. He says, oh my God. I said, you got her. No doubt about it. You got her. You got her good. I go, she's going to come out, she's going to go to the left, just tug her a little bit, she'll come to the right, then tug her again, she'll come back to the left, I'll open the net, she'll slide right on in, I'll pick it up and I'll slam it right on the table, on the deck. And he goes, okay. And sure enough, he does that. He twitches it that way, then twitches it back, here she comes, lays it on the net, I slam it down on the deck, and he goes, yeah. And I said, yeah. And I put my hand on his shoulder and I go, look what you did. Just look what you did. Look what you did. And he goes, yeah. He's, oh man, he's just on fire. He's all excited. And I said, you want to go back and get that little fish now? He goes, oh, no. You know. So after that, he goes, I know more places. all of a sudden he trusted me, and he allowed, you know, he just trusted me, and so he was willing to share all the other places that he wanted to go to. He goes, I know places that got bigger fish. I said, that's fine, Packer, let's go. It still wasn't the bass hour. Still wasn't the bass hour. So we take off, we go to another place. He gets 3 more. We're getting close to the bass hour, getting close to the bass hour, and I can see it. So finally we go to another place. Boom, the bass hour. Pick out my worm, a little spinning rod, something like that. It wasn't a second. Boom, just like that. I got my first fish. He comes to the back. He almost falls out of the boat, but you know, and I once again I tell him, don't worry about it. Take your time. When I tell you to get the net, just take your time. Come on back. I said, don't worry about it. If she gets off, she gets off. It's no big deal. I don't want any pressure on him at all. I don't want any pressure on the boater at all. None at all. So he nets it, put it in, and we move on down the road. And it happens 2 more times. 2 more times. And we go in, we weigh in, and he is proud as can be. He ended up with 11 pounds, 2 ounces. I think I ended up with I think it was 6'2", I think it was that day. But that was that day. So it was fun. We made it fun, you know. The second day it was awesome. I drew a gentleman angler from California. His name was Ron Welch. And I don't know if any of you guys know Ron Welch, but he's a twin. And both of them fish competitively. And man, they are good. I mean, extremely good. And not only that they're good, but they are well-educated gentlemen anglers. Ron, this was his first tournament. Ron took last year off to go finish his doctorate. So this guy was on top of it. You name it, he could tell you anything, whatever it was, you know, when it happened, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I meet him upstairs in the parking lot. We take off to the lake. We put the boat on the water. We're automatically just floating on the water because we're waiting for the launch and all that kind of stuff. And him and his brother are going back and forth and back and forth. You know, they're just teasing each other, calling each other ugly. You know, all that kind of stuff. You know, all that. So I join in. So I walk up to the front of the boat, put my arm around. Don't you talk to my boater like that. Don't do that. I said, besides one, I got the pretty one. He goes, I'm the pretty one. I said, no, I heard you came out first, that's all. So anyway, we were back and forth, bickering, you know, just teasing at each other, you know, before we launched. So everybody starts getting comfortable. We're getting more relaxed with each other and all that kind of stuff. So, and Ron's got a legend. And oh my God, that thing can fly. So we come out of the thing, take off, and we start heading for the Narrows. And we're just zooming down the water, and it's just pow, 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 and we're just flying down the water, and here comes a skeeter, like that, right next to him. And I'm hanging on with both hands going like this, you know, going like that, and I'm looking at Ron. Ron looks over at the skeeter, and he goes, oh, hell no. And he presses it, and boom, we just take off, and we head on the other side of the lake. So once we get to the other side of the lake, he tells me, we're going to be bed fishing. I said, okay, that's fine. So what that tells me is that when he finds whatever he's looking for, whatever fish he's looking for on the bed, he exposes the rear end to whatever is available to me out there, whether it be deep, shallow, you know, it's all mine because he's focused right there on that one given fish. So we pull in this cove, and once again, it's just like a picture book. You start cruising on by all this beautiful clear water, all this beautiful clear sand and rock and everything else where they could spawn and everything like that. You know, both on the left and both on the right. And you know, and he takes the boat and he comes around and he turns around and he puts the nose right on the beds just like that. And power pole down, he says. He puts the power poles down. He goes walks up to the front, takes out his rod and he starts fishing for that fish on the bed. So I turn around, look over the power poles. I'm not very tall, but you know, I start looking over the power poles and I see that there's a huge boulder over to my left. It's beautiful clear water. There's a huge boulder over here to my right, beautiful clear water. And on the bottom of the boulder, you have the darkness. You can't see what's on the bottom. Reach down, I pick up my worm, I'll start on the left. I just throw it on there, and I can see it just going down. I can see that little tail just going like that. It clips the boulder, It bounces into the darkness, and as soon as it disappears, bam! Just like that. Just like that. And it's like, my rod just goes like this because it's a little 6-foot medium heavy, and it's a walleye rod. And it just bends it just like that. And I'm going, oh man, please hang on. And I'm saying all this inside, and I'm trying to stay cool, not to get all excited. I said, Ron, I got one. He goes, okay. So he comes back with the net. And I go, oh man, it's a nice largie, John, it's a nice largie. I said, I know, and I'm trying to crank it on in, and I look down in the water, and you see her open her mouth, just, trying to spit the thing out. I said, no, you can't spit that thing out. I know you've got it up here in the roof of your mouth. I know that you're not going to spit it up. So she comes up, she goes underneath the boat, she does all that kind of stuff, and we ended up netting, and he drops it on the floor, and I pick it up. And immediately I just start bawling, man. I can't believe this is happening to me. It's just like you read it in the book. It's just like you read it in the magazine. And it's just like when you ask the man above for help. It's just the way he planned it. Just that way. And I was thrilled. And he goes, what's the matter? I said, I'm so damn happy. I am so damn happy that I go, this is incredible. It's just totally incredible. He goes, well, get up and do it again. So I wipe my face and you retie. After every time, you retie, and retie. Of course, now I've got my one on the right. Okay? Take a deep breath. Send it on in there. Clips the boulder. Goes into the darkness. Bam! Just again, just like that. Within 6 minutes, I had 2 premium quality largemouth. They're just outstanding. She comes out of the darkness. She's doing this. Wah. Wow. The mouth is coming open and saying, you're not going nowhere. You're not going anywhere. And she turns her belly. She goes underneath the boat again, all that kind of stuff. She comes around, and I put her in there, drop it like that, and of course I just start bawling like a baby. He goes, are you okay? I said, man, God is good. He's just blessed me with 2 huge fish. I go, man, this is outstanding. He goes, you need one more. I go, I do. I said, but I need a rest right now. I need to rest. So he goes, man. He goes, you're just having a great time. He goes, you're on it. He goes, you're on it. And I knew I was on it. It just, when I took out that weenie, I just had so much confidence in it that it would work. And it did. And I ended up catching my 3rd fish later. And I went in with the limit. And man, I just give God all the praise, man. He just kept me calm and cool. He kept me focused. He knew that I just needed to keep my boater just in the moment and let him know that this is about him. I'm just back here for the ride. I'm not going to do anything to harm you or anything like that. I'm not going to get in your way. So we did that. That was all good. Third day I draw a gentleman angler from Wyoming. His name is Bubba O'Neill. Big Bubba. Of course, everybody's big to me, but Big Bubba O'Neill, and he's an athletic director, I think, for the University of Wyoming. Real nice guy. On that day, the weather had changed. The rain had come in, the clouds had really moved in, the wind had really started moving things, and I just thank God that he had a ranger. Sorry, guys, but. I'm sure a bass cat would have worked and anything else would have worked, but at that day, on that moment, thank God I was in a ranger. And man, we hit I don't know how many whitecaps. Bam, bam, and I thought the boat was just going to snap. But it didn't. But we made it over to, I think it's called Vegas Bay or something. What was it? I forgot what it was called. Las Vegas Wash. And I immediately knew that, man, they had pounded that area. The college kids pounded that area. The locals had pounded that area. And we just pounded it for the last 2 days like that. And he goes, I'm throwing a Cinco and a spinnerbait. And I said, okay, that's fine. It still wasn't the bass hour, So we get there and like the rest of them, just jumps up out of the seat, runs to the front of the boat, throws it on down, and starts flinging that big old spinnerbait, man. And Bubba's big, so his reach comes back even further in the back of the boat. So here I am on this side of the boat, give him all that room over here behind the seat, and the console that's behind the seat on the driver's side, right there. He had all that room because that's the whole motion that he needed to make that cast, you know, just like that. So I step back and I start doing the double dutch thing. Okay. And as soon, you know, and he's looking back, he goes, "Are you gonna fish?" And I said, "I'm just watching right now. Just watching right now." And he goes, "Okay." And man, he's pumped. He's all excited. I guess he's in first, and you know, he wants to win, and I don't blame him. You know, he wants to win. It's a big deal for him. So I watch him. So I reach down, pick up my spinnerbait, and it's a. And he's always leaving me space, this much space. That's it. From that and the wall, and anything else that he was throwing at. But it didn't matter. I was on that day too. And all I did was just place the spinner there, lay it down, bring it back to me. Lay it down, bring it back to me. And man, we went down a bank, we went down a rock wall, the whole bit. And by the time we got in, we both looked at each other and went, man. He goes, "There's nothing there." I go, "No shit." You know? So he goes, "There should be here. They should be here." And I said, "Bubba, they just pounded this place. I mean, everybody was all over it. You were all over it yesterday." He goes, "Yeah, we were." And I go, "I don't know, maybe it's just too beat up." And he goes, maybe we should go to Caldwell." And I said, "That's the first time. That's the first time he mentions Caldwell." Okay, the first time. And I said, "Do what you want, man. It's all about you." I said, "I'm just back here. I follow your lead." I said, "It's for me to fit in to what you're doing. And I'd interrupt what you're doing." You know, and his eyes get like this, you know, and it's like, because I guess he's never heard that before. And so he goes, "No, we'll just continue on, keep doing it." And it's like, okay. You know, so I pick up a crankbait. You know, who knows? You know, that might happen. And that never happened for practice, and it's never happened in 2 days. So once it here he is. He starts throwing that spinnerbait, you know. So I wait for my time. I start double dutching and I start counting. You know, and I wait and I take my crankbait and it's like, now, throw it in there. And I put it in the gap that he leaves me every single time. Bring it to me. We got caught one time, and it was his fault. So, and we kept doing that, and he mentions Caldwell one more time. So we go down another bank, we throw that, and it just feels lifeless. You know, it just feels lifeless. And he's going, "I can't believe they're not here." And he's throwing, "I can't believe they're not here." And he mentions Caldwell again. Third time. And so I go, "Well, if you want to make a move, let's make a move." You know. He goes, "No, we'll just keep going. Okay. You know. So more spinnerbait, more crankbait. You know, we get to the end and it's like, I said, "They're not here." I said, "Yeah, they're not biting." And he goes, "Oh, maybe we should go to Caldwell." I said, "Look," I said, "you've mentioned that thing 4 times already. 4 times already. Why do you keep mentioning that?" And he looks at me and I go, "Is it your gut? Is it your gut telling you that? Is it?" He goes, "Yeah, it's my gut." "Well, then follow it. Follow it. If you think we need to go to Caldwell, let's go. Let's go. We know it's not happening here. Let's go." And he goes, "You're right, John. Button up. We're out of here." And oh my God, here comes the boat ride again. You know, so we button down, put on our jackets, we take off and we head for Caldwell. Now, Caldwell is the area where they release the fish, you know, all of that. So you know there's fish there. And that was his whole idea, to catch those fish that are coming in and out and stuff like that. Because he really wanted a limit. And at that time, he only had one little 13-inch smaller. That's it. So we get there, we go to the south side, which coming in, which would be the left, and we go to that area. And I didn't fish that area, you know, and there was nothing there. Now the area that I did fish was on the other side with my first boater. So my first boater already told me where I needed to be. But I couldn't go tell my boater, "This is where it needs to be. Go ahead and poke the boat that way and I'll go ahead and just fish here." You know, I said, "Well, I fished over there, and if you stay between that point and that point, I think we should be able to do it." He goes, "Let's go." We put on our jackets, fires it up, we go right across. As soon as he gets it, what does he do? Jumps right out of the seat, runs to the front, drops the trolling line, grabs his spinnerbait, and I step back, boom, he sends it on like that. he gets his first one. And she was beautiful. I mean, she was outstanding. I mean, I was kind of jealous, and that's kind of wrong to be, but it was beautiful. It was a beautiful fish. And so he kept going. Still wasn't the bassing hour. We were still early, still wasn't the bassing hour. So we keep moving in, and he catches another one, another beautiful fish. I mean, she's just outstanding. I mean, I just can't believe just how blessed she's been. I mean, he's giving them all these fish, you know, and I mean, they're nice on spinnerbaits too, you know, and I guess that's what the way he likes to catch them, and he is just pumped. He's all excited. So we keep moving down, and we get to a point, and he throws a spinnerbait again. Wow, he gets his third one, just like that, and I'm going, okay, Lord, you know, how about me? How about me? You know, how about me? And but it still wasn't the bassing hour. And he keeps going down, and finally he throws a Cinco. Big old Cinco, I mean big. I mean, going like this, you know, just huge. And he throws it on in there, you know, and he gets his fourth fish. He gets his fourth one, just like that. And so, I go, what time is it? It's 11:15. Pull it out, and I swear to God, from here to the wall, just like that. It didn't. I'm assuming it didn't get that far into the water. I had my first one. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. And what did I do? I was on my knees bawling like a baby. I just couldn't believe that he had just given me that fish, just like that. So we continue, and I'm throwing that worm, and I'm going, just one more fish, God, please, just one more fish, God, please, one more, just one more, you know, and before I know it, there's only like an hour and a half left, you know, and I'm going, take a deep breath, and I go, just one more, and I keep casting, and I keep casting, and finally I see the point out there, and it's shallow, and it goes into the darkness. I throw my worm in there, I see it, and it goes down in the darkness, and next thing you know, bam! I've got him, just like that. Not going anywhere, because I know he's got it on the roof of his mouth. So I take it, it's a huge relief to get him in the boat, put him in the live well and stuff like that. I retie, and I go, one more, I need one more, God, just please, one more, just one more. And he didn't give me one more. I ended up with two. But I guess he thought that was more than enough, and it was, because I beat him by 4 pounds, 10 ounces. That was it, man. I was blessed. I mean, the whole trip, the whole everything was blessed, and you know, but what you guys don't hear and what you don't see is that those nights when we came off the water, I slept maybe for an hour and a half. I'd get up, take a shower, go walk around the casino. I mean, because I want to execute so much. I'm ready to go. I'm ready. If you want to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, let's go leave 3 o'clock in the morning, because I'm ready. Because I knew it was working for me. But the other thing too is that when I was walking around, I made friends with the security guard, and I talked to him. He kept me grounded. I talked to him about his family, all that kind of stuff. The guy that made my chicken wings down in the pizza place, he came out and he talked to me, you know, and we talked about his family, and we talked about what I was doing here and everything like that. Once again, keeping me grounded one more time. You know, the security guards out in the parking lot, driving the bicycles around, protecting our trucks, protecting our boats, you know, allowing us, you know, to rest our head in peace, to get some rest so we can go back out there and fish, because we know they're out there and watching that stuff. You know, so I thanked every one of those guys before I left, and told them that, you know, and I showed them the plaque, and I said they were part of this victory, because if they weren't there at that time, in that moment, just for those brief moments, you know, because when I really needed somebody, you know, just to talk to, you know, something like that, total strangers, they were there. They're good people out there, you know. And I found 3 of them, and they helped me, and they kept me grounded, you know. So I had to give them some, you know, I give them a big thank you and everything like that. And it was really cool. And I appreciate everything that Audrey's done, and I appreciate everybody here. I learned something from everyone here. You know that. I've watched you for years, just like Todd said, for years from the back of the boat, and I watched and I watched and I watched and I watched. It's going to go to somebody that's inspired me my whole life. to do better, to not quit, and to hang in there. And Ed, and I know you can't do the things that you're able to do anymore. So this one's for you. I did this for you. And that's it.
Is the attendance sheet still going around? Done?
All right, guys.
You're just going to keep the bait, aren't you?